Well, hello, Katherine.
Hello, Joshua.
And hello to the viewers. And welcome to...
We're Married. What now? Episode 7.
Episode 7.
7 of the episode.
7th episode out of 7.
Siete!
For our Spanish viewers. That's all you get for Spanish, though. Sorry. Yeah, back on track with the book, 5 Love Languages. Last episode, we gave y'all just a brief topic that was on our mind where we talked about where you put your focus and what you should be thinking about where you put your focus. So this episode, we're going into chapter 5, the second love language, quality time. So Katie, kick us off.
I think every time I start reading the chapters, I'm like, oh, this one may not pertain to me. It may just be a chapter that we just read and discuss, but it's like...
And then boom!
Yeah, it's like...
It's all you.
Yeah, it's like...
You need it. By the way, I got my freaking breakfast pants on because we're filming another After Dark edition.
So I found that this chapter kind of took me by surprise, that I definitely didn't think that this was my type of chapter until you think of quality.
We read everything in
and you think of quality time and the way that he breaks down quality time. I mean, Gary Chapman's the man.
He's a savage.
He's killing it, killing the game. So I feel like as the little bullet points that he puts in the chapter, I feel like it's him talking about me, him talking about Josh, him talking about me, and then the last 2 things he's talking about us together.
That's a good point because each love language is good to explore because it may not be like your preferred love language, but there's something to learn, and I feel like there's a piece of you in every love language, at least so far. We've only done 2, but it seems like there's something for each of us
to take from
there.
each chapter, even like you said, if it's not your primary.
And examples that like pertain to us. And we could like, as we're reading it together, we're like talking about, oh, remember that time when, you did this, or hey, that's just like you.
It helps bring up things that maybe you didn't want to talk about at the time, but it now brings it up to where you're like, okay, this is a good time. And that'll kind of take us to the first point, was whenever Gary Chapman talked about like focused attention or like undivided attention. And so that again convicted me because I am the queen of unfortunately putting usually work, like emails, text messages, the moment that it hits my phone, it doesn't matter what's going on, I usually resort right to it, and I can't not answer at that very moment.
And not even just work, it's like anything.
Yeah, anything
like if somebody
arises,
reaches out to Katie or any kind of anything pops up.
It's like I have
It doesn't even matter if it's important. She's like, stop and do it right there. And sometimes it's like in the middle of when I'm talking, I'm like, I'm your husband. Respect me.
Even though Josh was kidding, I think that it's still very true that he's like, respect me, I'm your husband. He's absolutely right. Because if I keep putting things in front of him that shouldn't be put in front of him, he's going to think that I don't have respect for him, and that he's going to think that that's where he falls in line, is that he comes second to my job, to text messages, to emails, to anything that comes up that needs attention. Whatever. He's going to think that he comes second, and that's not how I'm supposed to be his wife. So that was the first bullet point that I felt like was like he said, it was both of us, but I feel like that's something that I really need to work on. The second one, what?
Because what you can realize is like, other stuff can wait. Like your spouse is more important.
Oh, and another thing that they had before we moved to the second bullet point of the focused attention, he had said that the emotional part of spending time together was the most part that mattered. So like sometimes Josh and I, like we'll both get home from working on a Friday. Usually Fridays are like our movie nights. We'll get home from not seeing each other all day at work. We'll eat, we'll pop on a movie, and we'll
we'll just pop it on.
Yeah. Pop on a movie, and then it's like time for bed, and I look at her and I'm like, I didn't even see you all day. So even though we may have been together for the past 5 hours by eating and watching a movie, it didn't mean that we actually engaged in conversation with each other and had that emotional connection.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because you may spend 4 hours together, but like you're not really completely focused on your spouse, compared to you could spend 20 minutes of phones off, at dinner,
asking how the day
whatever
went,
it is,
details of your day,
eye-to-eye conversation, not like looking down, taking selfies, whatever, not watching a movie, you know what I'm saying? Like really undivided attention and like focus on each other. And you don't have to do as much because it's a lot more intense than just like watching 19 Netflix episodes in a row, you know?
Like obviously Josh and I want to watch.
And that's okay to do, but...
Obviously Josh and I want to watch our movies, but it's having, like he said, that just 20 minutes of engaging in conversation with each other about our day is going to make a huge difference because it's, yes, the time we're spending together, but it's the emotional connection during that time is what matters most.
Most deaf.
Preach it. But the second bullet point, this was a Josh one.
That's what you think. What was it?
Quality conversation. This was like the main thing that it was thankfully my part to read this bullet point. And it said, so she doesn't want advice. She just wants to know that you understood.
I'm a problem solver, all right, book? All right, Chapman? I'm a problem solver. Or at least I thought I needed to be.
Ladies, I know that y'all felt me on this one. Sometimes I probably shouldn't because I don't need to complain. But sometimes I have an issue that may have happened that day and I don't want him to solve it. I just want him to consult me.
Which is why this book is good, because common sense to me is like, you're telling me like this problem, I'm like, well, easy fix, just stop doing it.
And then I get upset because I'm like, you don't understand.
You don't get it? I can't stop. But I'm like, well, then why are you asking me? And I'm thinking like, what are you asking my opinion? But I didn't realize like she just needs to vent. And it's okay for her to vent because I vent a lot too. And
you guys, when I tell you, because before this, Josh, I think had noticed that was actually a really big deal to me, was just listening and just understanding and just like being an ear.
So that was very hard for me because like she would call me, I'm like in the middle of doing something and telling me all this stuff and I'm like,
pretty much what
I would give a very short and direct answer that may come off as rude. I didn't think it was, but like
she doesn't want to answer. And he didn't care.
But it's like I did care. That's why I want to fix it my way, but my way is not always the best way.
Yes.
I guess. I still think it is, but like, you know, obviously it's not actually.
But what I was going to is that before we read this book, he actually I would be able to finish my entire story and him not cut me off, and then I'd be able to actually have him hear feedback oh, I could see how that would be aggravating. When I tell you, it changed my life.
But now let me tell you all this too. It was extremely hard. One could say excruciating to sit there and listen to these stories because Katie is the queen of details. I talk a lot, but she has to tell you so many details.
My job is details.
Not even your job, just her life. You could take it 360 degrees. I have no idea what she's talking about, but I still just go on with it. I like to talk. I enjoy listening too, but I'm very all over the place. One could say ADD-ish, something like that. So it's very hard for me to sit there and listen to one person talk, especially when I want to give them the answer, or when I just want to tell them, get over it. But
no, I realize exactly.
It's not the best way to handle things. So what we're saying is, I started to realize I was going to have to make those sacrifices to make her happy. If I just keep doing it my way, it's going to create tension.
And then it's not going to make me want to confide in him, and then it's just going to hold it all in.
Problems, or hold it in and talk to somebody else or whatever. So even though I don't always want to be, I need to be there for her when she just needs to vent or whatever it is.
To end this topic, there was one thing that actually just came to me. Whenever we were reading this, I think that this was a huge thing that maybe came to Josh, but we didn't talk too much about it because I feel like I'm very, very blessed with a husband that is very he communicates a lot sometimes more than I do. But what was cool is that he actually, by reading this part of the chapter, he realized that he never used to be that person that would communicate. Pretty much had to teach yourself how to be able to communicate and how to know that it's okay to express yourself, especially as a man.
Yeah, I had to force it because it's not the way I grew up. It's not the way I was taught per se. But the reason I think I had to learn how to do it and why I forced it is because I realized how important it was in relationships, just as a byproduct of listening to podcasts or different things. Because I realized what my life was like when I held everything inside. I faced the early childhood trauma. My sister had a brain injury that later on ended in her dying. I went through, and that was right when I was a teenager and at a rebellious stage, so I didn't know how to express like feeling sad and upset. So like as a man, I felt I had to be tough, or I was a boy, but like I was trying to be a man, and so I didn't show that side, so I acted out a lot, and I was angry. But it was really, I was holding all my emotion inside. I wouldn't cry or anything like that, and it ended up expressing itself in bad ways, or I got even more sad or depressed or whatever it was. So I realized like I didn't like the person I had become when I didn't communicate my feelings, or didn't tap into the emotions I was feeling, and I didn't express them at all. So early on in me and Katie's relationship, I would just say that, hey, we have to do this if we're gonna make it. Yeah, so we gotta communicate. You know, I did things, we talked about things I didn't want to talk about, and that paid off in a huge way in our relationship. And then I'll talk about it more openly and the feelings I express. Anyways, without getting carried away, I just realized how important expressing your emotions. Like Katie was saying, it wasn't something that I was just naturally had or grew up like that. It was actually it was the opposite. I was very bottled everything up. There's just, I learned how important it was, and I kind of forced myself. So like I learned as I went, and it paid off in a big way, I think. I would say if you're not emotional, especially as a man, don't feel like you can't communicate your feelings anytime. It's just like it comes with steps.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought that was pretty cool because it was...
And men, don't be scared to be a man, all right? If you're a man and you get a little emotional, I just think that'll make you more of a man because you're secure in your manhood. So, preach that. I'll cry right now. Okay, sorry, I won't.
Okay.
I really won't.
Well, on to topic number 3.
Take it back over. A good point.
Yes, very good point. Yeah, I'm so thankful you are the way that you are, and the reason I'm saying that is because that's going to transfer to part number 3, which then goes again to a Katie conviction, which is learning how to talk. Josh was
I ain't got that problem, boo.
Josh opened the book and it said, "Okay, my turn to read," and he read the headline, and it said, "Learning how to talk."
And I just did this.
So in that part, he described 2 different type of people, a Dead Sea and a babbling brook. And so I'm pretty sure now you guys have gotten into this far in the video. Hello, my name is Katie. I'm a Dead Sea. Hello, my name is Joshua.
And I'm a freaking pouring over, babbling, like waterfall, Niagara Falls, into the brook. Babbling brook.
Yes. So, but man, what was cool was that he said that usually those 2 people will end up getting married. And it's
funny because he said they do well together because babbling brooks love to be listened to, and Dead Seas.
I just like to listen.
Yeah, they love to listen, and they love to listen and not feel pressure to talk.
Yes.
So it's like if I'm always talking,
because sometimes we'll go
I'm like, wow, Katie's a great listener. And really she's thinking like, wow, he talks so I don't ever have to talk. I feel so comfortable.
Well, that's why like anytime I have to do something for work, like social events, if he is with me, like I'm good. I can bring him with me and he can talk to anyone. He doesn't meet a stranger. He befriends everyone, and it's the best thing ever for someone who is a Dead Sea.
Take the pressure off of her feeling like she has to come up and like say something.
Yes.
So I get that, but it's what he talked about in there too is like, but being that's how you are, that doesn't mean you could just resort to that and it'd be okay.
Yeah.
You have to get out your comfort zone, and the Dead Sea maybe needs to learn to talk more, and the babbling brook may need to learn to listen more.
And that's kind of what
the Dead Sea talk on her time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we talked about. Like, I am starting to find a voice, I feel like, especially with us, because in the beginning it was very rough. Because like usually it was whenever we got in some type of argument, and that's why, like, man, my favorite 2 words that do not let these 2 things overpower you is pride and ego, because I still have a problem with that, and I still struggle with that.
Ego is the enemy.
But that was very difficult in the beginning for me, because if we were going through some type of argument, I would completely shut off. For one, because I had to process everything, and it takes me way, way long to process. And then also, like,
she would want to piss me off.
Yeah.
And it would work because I'd be like that Ryan Gosling meme on Facebook.
Hey girl.
No. What? Not the hey girl that she's talking about. No. I was talking about the meme where it's like, what do you want? Like where, you know, when
yes.
she can't just make up her mind where you want to eat, you know, and he's like,
what do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
what do you want? You know, like that would be me, and she'd be like,
I'll look out the window.
Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. I'm not upset.
And I know that I'm not the only one like that. So I had to.
It would drive me insane because I'm just like, let's solve it.
I had to force myself to talk. And it was like how he was saying he had to force himself to listen, and it was literally painful. That's how I felt. That like whenever we would get in an argument and he would be like, you just talk to me, just communicate with me. That's whenever I shut off, and that's whenever I don't talk. But then in my mind, I'm like, okay, Katie, what is more important? You making him angry and not helping the situation? Are you forcing yourself to talk, being able to help the situation better?
And being able to be in a relationship with me.
Yeah.
Because it drove me insane. She knows that's what makes it even worse, is she knew that was making me mad, and she would like still do it anyway. I'm just here trying to solve the problem so I could go on living my life and maybe, you know, eat dinner or go to bed. And she would just, oh man. You can see I'm still a little triggered by it. Anyways, triggered. Let's move to the next topic.
But yes,
but she's getting a lot better.
If you're anything like me, the 3 things that I feel that I'm having to overcome is pride, ego, and holding grudges. Because everybody knows. You
can't hold a grudge on your spouse.
No, you can't. Because everybody knows.
That's not gonna work.
Everyone knows. And I'm saying this, I can say this because I'm a woman. Girls can hold the longest grudges. But
and all it does is attack you inside.
Yes, it's not solving anything.
Forgive the person.
Let it go.
Forgiveness is one of the most powerful words and tools.
And hardest things to learn.
Yes, but once you start to do it, it sets you free. Grudges cause turmoil, mostly to yourself and to the people you love, like your spouse. Forgiveness sets everyone free. Dead Sea, Babbling Brook, that's a really good one. Good analogies and a good discussion about that. We took a lot away from that, obviously.
Yes.
With that being said, we're going to go to the next topic.
And this is the last one of the chapter, and it was by far my favorite. And I think it's because this one is a topic that I felt Gary Chapman was talking about, because Josh and I both love experiences. Traveling, seeing new places. Memories, creating vlogs. Memories. Yeah, vlogs. All we talk about is like, man.
Alright, so we're back. Minor camera malfunction. I think the clip that we were recording was too long. So we just filmed a whole bunch extra and filmed the outro, but it all got cut off. But we wanted to wrap up the video again. So we were talking about experiences and how important and valuable they are, whether it's a baseball game or taking a trip or whatever else. And Katie was talking about the end of the chapter.
Yeah, so if you look on page 71 and 72, it gives a lot of good examples. I'll just give one of them. It said to ask your spouse 5 different things that they'd want to do. So like whether it was going to see a new state or going to, your first
baseball game.
Yeah, first Major League Baseball game, or whether it's just going to a picnic in the park with you, and your spouse and maybe your dog. That would be something that maybe you were asked your spouse and you're like, oh, I never thought that would be like one of their top 5 things that they'd want to do. So, and they said to write those down, and then each month make it a point, like maybe there's 3 things that like barely cost anything, but then on that 4th month, let's save up and let's do that trip that you wanted to take. So I think that that's pretty cool and a good idea.
And book it. And like the chapter was talking about, make the time for it. So like plan it, put it in the calendar, pay on it, buy the tickets, whatever it is. Like if you don't book it, it's not just, it's not going to happen, and you say one day, and then you never take the trip. So make the time for it.
Yeah. So again, Josh and I really love this chapter. I felt like it hit every certain spot that I needed to hear and that I needed to be reinforced with, and then also to reinforce that, man, traveling and spending time and making memories and just collecting those memories with your spouse, like, you can't beat it.
So worth it. But yeah, and like you were saying in the book too, and like we were saying about the doing the book together, if you make the time to take the trips, you won't regret going on it. Same like doing these books. Like if you make the time and put aside the time to do them together, you won't regret doing it. You may not want to do it at the time of, when you rather just lay on the couch or like watch TV or go scroll on your phone or whatever it is, but making that time to spend together and do these kind of things together, you won't regret it.
No.
So I highly advise that, if y'all aren't doing the book now, or you don't have it yet, or it doesn't even have to be this one, but I would just say, do one with your spouse for sure.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this chapter as much as Josh and I did, and we're excited to see. I think the next one is gifts. So again, I don't feel like that one's gonna be me, but it's probably gonna mic drop every other page. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hopefully y'all are able to take away some stuff from this. Another video coming soon. Thank y'all for watching.
And we'll see you on the next one. All of a sudden you just see like the words. Gary Chapman, real MVP. Jesus, the most MVP.
Oh God.
Thank you, Jesus. Jesus. It's after dark.
They can see you squeezing my leg on camera. I can talk too. Oh, that one, bro. In this house. But